Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of Be Present, Not Perfect. We had some audio sync issues, so thank you for joining me for part 2. I just had 5 points and we were only able to get 2 into the first video, so thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, share it with someone else. That greatly helps me get this message out to other people. Thank you. So point number 3 is to be purposeful. Zig Ziglar used to say, in a world of wandering generalities, you need to be a meaningful specific. And there's lots of ways to implement that in our lives. I think the number one way that I've done that over the last 5 years or so is by having written specific goals that I'm striving towards. I think it's so important to have large goals that you're going for in the next year to 5 years, but more than that, I think you should break things down into 90-day goals and even monthly goals and weekly goals, because then you're able to reverse engineer those things that you're striving towards in the different areas of life. And I think it's very important that we have goals in different areas. Again, Zig Ziglar had the famous wheel of life that he talked about, and he talked about setting goals in these different areas so that we can have a well-rounded life. Just picture a wheel that's on your car. If its diameter is, say, I don't know, 18 inches, and maybe that's the radius. I don't know my tire measurements. I don't know, 18 sounds right. 18 inches, but there are parts that are dented in, or there are parts that are flat around that circle. You're gonna have a really rough ride because it's unequal. And he talked about how that's the same in our lives. If we have, I don't know, our marriage relationship is 100% and it's doing great, but your career is down almost at a 0, well then it's going to be a bumpy ride, because that's part of your life as well. So the different areas that he outlines in the Wheel of Life are physical, spiritual, relational or social, family, career, financial, and intellectual. And I think it's so important to have goals in those different areas, because none of us are perfect in any category. And it's so important that we are intentional and striving towards something in each category. I think the most important thing when it comes to our goals is that we need to take action. Really, we're never going to have a perfect plan. There's a famous general that talked about a good plan violently executed today always beats a perfect plan that waits until tomorrow. So it's so important that we take action, we go and we start doing the things that are taking us towards our goals, and then we can reflect and adjust from there. I mean, again, we talked about journaling in the last video. I think journaling is a really good thing in combination with prayer, meditation, just being mindful, all those things, because that helps us to reflect on things, what went well, what didn't go well, and what we are going to improve on next time and our next action steps from there. So point number 4 is, in a world of widespread lethargy, we need to be productive. We need to be taking action on a regular basis. We need to be doing the things that are taking us towards our goals. I don't know if you're wired like me, but over time I've sort of built this habit where I'm almost disgusted by apathy or holding back, just laying back and relaxing for too much time. It just almost turns my stomach. It's so funny. Sometimes I'm even on vacation. My whole purpose of being there is to relax, to kick back, to recharge, to do all those things that you do on vacation. And yet 2 or 3 days in, I'm just getting antsy because I want to be doing something to strive towards my goals or to further my progress. So, I mean, in those moments, it's important to be present in that moment and to be doing the purpose why you're there is to relax and all of those things. But also, you could be active in that relaxation. You could be taking a swim in the hotel pool, or going for a run to work on your physical goals, or small things like that that you can incorporate into something that you are doing that is not necessarily syncing up with your internal rhythms. I think it's important to recognize that yes, we need to take time to sharpen the saw. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, he talks about taking time to sharpen the saw. But I think it's important to point out that you should need time to sharpen the saw because those teeth have been worn flat, not because it's rusted solid because you haven't been using it. So I think yes, you take time to sharpen the saw once you're worn down. I think it's very fitting that in the old Jewish tradition, the Sabbath was 1 day a week, because you worked, you sweat, you toil, you do all those things, you put in all that work, and then when you're worn down, you are taking that time to once again like center yourself again around your core purpose and reason for being. I mean, our relationship with God really gives us that perspective. It's so important to take that time, but it's also a time to rejuvenate and refresh the body and the mind so that you're ready to go out and attack the things that you need to tackle in the week ahead. And point number 5 is, in a shortcut microwave culture, we need to be patient. I mean, the points before this, they might be compared to bricks in the wall of our success. They are things that we need to do consistently to build our success moving forward. If that is a true analogy, then I would say that patience is like the mortar that holds it all together. We often overestimate what we can do in a day, a week, or a month, but we underestimate what we could accomplish if we were intentional in our years and decades of consistency. Because when we put in the work and we are consistent and don't sabotage ourselves, we can go far beyond what our wildest expectations are of ourselves. So it's so important to recognize that. So with that, I challenge you to go out and consistently take action and track your progress in a way that's meaningful to you. I mean, I am sort of a visual person, so as we were paying off debt, as I'm tackling my physical goals, my relational goals, my career goals, intellectual goals, all those things, not only am I writing them down, but I like having those visual trackers. I mean, there's debt-free charts on Instagram that you should check out. There are all these people that help you to track your progress in a way that can be meaningful, and you can celebrate those small wins. Even right now, as we're being intentional in paying down our mortgage, I have a small tracker with bricks in a wall on our fridge that we're shading in as we're making extra mortgage payments and paying down that mortgage, so we're able to track it in that way. And even I have a net worth little chart where I'm shading things in as we're investing for retirement, building up our nest egg, all of those things as we're building towards $1 million. I mean, we're nowhere close to that at this point, but it's just motivating to start to track those things, because you're able to celebrate the small wins, the little tiny gains that you make each day. It's like the concept of Kaizen, just becoming 1% better every day and then celebrating that progress. I mean, James Clear talks about it in Atomic Habits, or even in The Power of Habit by Duhigg. Those are incredible books if you are trying to build positive habits to implement in your life and make it better. If there are other books that speak about habits, feel free to comment them down below. Thank you for joining me today. Like and share and subscribe. Do all the things that can help us further this message. God bless.